This is Morning Juice. Sports, insight, and great storytelling. Starring Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Tito Thidoff. It's time to attack and dominate.
We'll have to see on that. So thanks so much for tuning in today, folks. Got a big show lined up for you today. 2 full hours again. We've got, of course, we'll get to shortly, that always popular, This Date in History. It is a Schleg's Day. Anthony Schlegel is going to join us at 7 o'clock. It's also a Roosters Day, Bobby, where we will, at some point during the show, give away some a Roosters gift certificate. We'll do that as well. There's lots to get into today, and we'll go over quickly the results from last night. The Guardians beat the Brewers 5-0. They'll play tonight in Cleveland at 6:10. The Reds host the White Sox tonight at 6:40. Mavericks with a 1.8 chance won the lottery in the NBA there. They will get Cooper Flagg. The Spurs end up moving up to number 2, so they'll get another stud to put with Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, and the rest of that team, which probably means Popovich will find a way to come back. Knicks, by the way, over Boston, 121-113. Knicks lead that series 3-1. Minnesota over Golden State, 117-110. Minnesota leads that series 3-1. Pacers and Cavs tonight, 7 o'clock. Pacers lead 3-1. Bobby, it's very disappointing to me that the two best teams in the East, both Boston and Cleveland, might end up without their best players going forward in these elimination games coming up, because we're not sure about Donovan Mitchell tonight against the Cavs. Jason Tatum got hurt and was helped off the floor last night in that game. Now, Boston's troubles go far beyond Tatum being hurt during that game, but nonetheless, both teams with their backs against the wall might be missing their best players, and that part, I don't want to see a Pacers or Knicks team in the finals.
Why not?
Because
you're an anti-small market guy?
Well, first of all, Knicks are a small market.
I guess that is true. You want to see the Celtics.
I want to see the Celtics or the Cavaliers.
You and Bodie?
Bodie and I are both. Yeah, we're both Celtics fans on that.
Bodie's
Celtics, Cowboys.
I know that, but I'm trying to think if he had a Celtics shirt on this morning, which I don't.
I don't know if he did after the loss. He probably had a Notre Dame shirt on because they didn't lose yesterday, as far as we know. But anyway, but look, the Cavs and Celtics would be fine too. I like it when my Cleveland friends, like Shark over there,
thanks, Tito.
You're welcome. Get championships. I no longer root against Cleveland like I used to. I hope the Browns do well, not the Browns, but I hope the Guardians do well. I'd like to see the Guardians in the World Series, Shark. I'd like to see that in your lifetime.
What about your Pittsburgh team?
The Steelers?
Oh, they don't have an NBA team.
They don't have an NBA.
So you had to go to Boston.
When I first started liking basketball was Larry Bird's rookie year. So, yes, I liked the Celtics. Denver and OKC played tonight at 9:30. That series tied 2-2. In the NHL, Washington fell to Carolina 5-2. Hurricanes lead 3-1. Edmonton over Vegas 3-0. Oilers lead that series 3-1 tonight. Winnipeg and Dallas at 8 o'clock. Dallas leads that series 2-1. Bobby, one of the things I like about this new kind of clock that we're on is we get an extended version of This Date in History, provided you are ready. You always are, but I still always ask you, Bobby, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Time to get smarter. Morning Juice presents Today in History. Here's your professor, Bobby Carpenter.
Take it away, General.
Man, that's honestly, it was much better than, I don't know if I'd call yesterday a false start or whatever it was.
A false start. That's fair.
It was, if you make a mistake and no one hears it.
Oh, good point.
Did you actually make the mistake? Or at least half the people. It is Tuesday, May 13th, the 133rd day of the year, 232 days remaining in this 2025. Second day here on the stream with the Morning Juice. This date, 1960. Actually, we're going to go way back before that. This date, 1846. The United States declares war on Mexico. A couple months after the fighting began, after the annexation of the Republic of Texas, the nation of Six Flags, if you will, Thidoff, to help, I guess, pull them away from their Mexican counterparts down below. Do you know what the Six Flags over Mexico are? Or over Texas are?
Do I know what they are?
Yeah.
No, I have no idea, Bobby.
Shark.
I'm sure Shark
No,
does.
I don't know what
Shark
you're
doesn't
even
know.
talking about. I've heard of amusement parks called Six
Well,
Flags.
where do you think the name was derived from?
I didn't know. You're going to tell me. That's why you educate us every morning.
That's what it is, Bobby. Seriously.
You really don't know?
I don't know.
I'm
Does it have
disappointed
something
in
to
Shark
do
as
with-
well. Just so you know, I'm also disappointed in
Does
Shark.
it have something to do with the Alamo?
Well, it's part of it. It was the Six Flags that have flown over Texas as part of its countryhood, if you will. It was first Spain. I think France was in there. Mexico was in there. It was the Republic of Texas. It was also part of the Confederacy, and then and the United States has obviously been sprinkled in there before and after the Confederacy as well.
Well, I knew it was owned by Spain because that's why they
Mexico.
speak Spanish. But
Yeah.
I knew it was its own country, republic.
At what
I
point did
didn't
they
know.
change their name to the symbol?
What do you mean the symbol?
talking
Is
about?
this
Oh, that was
Prince?
Prince. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. My bad. I get
don't know
those
if-
guys. The three names of Prince. I'm sorry.
The three names of Prince. Yeah, I don't know if that's where you're going with it, but yeah, those are the Six Flags over Texas, if you will, for that. Also, coming up this day, one of my favorite Rolling Stones song, if you will, came out at this point in time. It is Painted Black, gets released on this date, 1966.
To get a little callback from yesterday, Shark. Let's Spend the Night Together was the Ed Sullivan one I was thinking of. That they had to they censored, I think, to Let's Spend Some Time Together.
There you go.
Sorry. Go ahead, Bobby.
There we go. This date, 1967. Something Stupid is released by Frank and Nancy Sinatra.
And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like I love you.
Oh, I've never heard this. Is
I
your
can
song, Shark?
see it in your eyes that
It was a little creepy because the father was singing it to his daughter.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Well, that's Nancy, yeah. That would be his daughter.
Yes.
How old was she when they did that show?
12. I have no idea. I don't. But are you
What
like
did you say, 1967?
Yeah, 1967.
Do you listen to Sinatra much, Bobby, or not?
I mean, I like it.
It's a mood thing.
I had never heard that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not going to. It just depends on how good of a mood. If I'm in a good mood, I like to listen to some Sinatra. And then also, this date, 1970, the release of Let It Be, the documentary done on the Beatles.
Let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
Yeah, they called it the movie, but it was really more of a documentary, I believe, on the Beatles' existence since ultimately coming to an end. Some birthdays. One of Shark's guys, born on this date, 1931. One of the great leaders
Don't
of
do
our
this. I
day,
can't.
Shark.
One of the great cult leaders,
Well,
I
I
guess.
mean, listen.
he
anytime-
got people to follow
AJ
him.
and I have had this debate for years. I mean, if you can convince people of things that are categorically false and they're willing to follow you to your death, then I would put you in as a great leader. Am I wrong? Where am I wrong in my assessment of
You're
this?
right, Bob. You're
Yes.
right. Hitler got a whole country to
Oh,
follow
100
him.
country. I mean, I think half of Europe was on his team
This
by
guy
the end.
scarred me.
Jimmy?
Yes.
Jim
Only-
Jones.
Like when they did the movie came out about him. I'm not sure what year it was. I was probably 7 or 8 years old. The thing about this, I think Stacy Keach may have played Jim Jones in the movie. Shark's looking at me puzzlingly. Anyway, and it freaked me out that at the time I didn't know about Hitler and everything, but at the time that was the first time
I
like I
didn't know about Hitler.
when I was like 7 or 8.
I figured you'd know about him prior to Jim Jones.
No, I saw this movie. There was I didn't see. Schindler's List wasn't out
Come
back
on,
then.
with a German last name like Thidoff, you didn't know who Hitler was?
I don't know if German's. I don't know if Thidoff's German.
You don't know what it is?
I don't know what my origin is. No, it might be Polish. It might be, I don't know, Russian. Could be German. I don't know. I just know that in school I got embarrassed, Bobby, because they did a thing when I was in elementary school where they told us all your last names normally came from the job you did. So if your last name was Baker, right? Your last name was Black.
Carpenter, Miller, yeah.
Right.
So what is Thidoff?
If you change the T to a different letter, what do you think you did on the streets?
There you go. Okay, well, maybe on someone's chest, too.
Don't.
Jim Jones, born on this date, 1931.
Jim Jones, he would say, "You'll die before you leave here."
Fail to follow my advice, you'll be sorry. You'll be sorry.
These people never had a chance. They had been victims of racism. They were victims of poverty. Jim Jones came along and offered them something. They trusted him and they believed him, but he was a crazy son of a bitch. And he was willing to see them all die.
Reverend Jones, how do you account for such an avid following as you seem to have?
I'm principled and dedicated to my people.
Principled and dedicated to his people, just like Shark is to both of us. That remember that. Singer Richie Valens, born on this date, 1941. Died way too young. He was
19?
He was on the plane with Buddy Holly.
On the
and
plane
the Big
crash.
Bopper. Yeah.
That was the only song.
Well, that was
the
like
only
his
song
first,
I know that
he had just
sang.
like made it big.
Well, he did the one with about his girlfriend Peggy. Was it? No, it wasn't
that
Peggy.
was Buddy
that,
Holly.
No, he did a song
Peggy
about his
Sue.
girlfriend. And if you watch the movie, Richie Valens, he sang about his girlfriend.
Either way,
Lou
he had
Diamond
just,
Phillips.
he had just become big.
Yep.
Like that, researching that yesterday. Some more birthdays today. Former longtime Mets manager Bobby Valentine turning 75.
He was also a Texas Rangers manager and got fired by the owner.
He's a good manager. He's done a lot for this community. But having said that, we were concerned about this pennant race, the 1992 pennant race, getting away from us. And so we decided to make this change in the hopes that the Texas Rangers will be a contender come September.
There we go. Fired by George W. Bush. Born on the exact same day, also turning 75, Stevie Wonder.
Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand.
There we go. Shark asked us last year if he could ever, do you think he ever saw himself being this big of a star?
Shark. Really?
Well, I mean, there you go. Funny, I was watching this because his daughter is now a soccer star for the U.S. women's national team. Dennis Rodman turning 64.
Scottie Pippen was quoted as saying, I have not had a conversation with Dennis. I've never had a conversation with Dennis in my life, so I don't think it's anything new. Why not speak to your teammates then?
Well, I thought it was important for me to go there and win. Me and Scotty and Michael never had a conversation in 3 years in Chicago. The only time we had a conversation is on the court. That was it. And nobody believes that. I said, well, only people I had a conversation with probably Jud Bushler, Randy Brown, Steve Kerr, Luke Longley, other players. With me, Mike and Scotty, we never had conversation at all off the court.
What do you think he was talking to Steve Kerr about? Going to Vegas together?
How to feel when Michael punched you in the face.
There you
How
go.
to feel then.
Some other birthdays today. Country music sensation Morgan Wallen turning 32.
Last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish.
You know that song, Bob?
Of course I do.
I don't know that song.
I like country music.
I made a good selection.
Yeah, I would have known.
I don't know who he is.
I would have known any of the songs you had. You played for him. And then Tyron Matthew, the Honey Badger, turning 32 as well.
Into double coverage, and it's a pick. Tyron Matthew gets him an interception. Given time into the end zone, picked off. Tyron Matthew, turnover machine. Cousins, tight window, picked off. Tyron Matthew.
Sunday fun day. Ain't no better place to be. You know, I showed up for work today. I just come here to put on a performance. I'm trying to get these fans their money worth.
Throws, and it's intercepted again by Matthew, and he's going to take it to the house.
Oh, boy.
A 32-yard return by number 32, the Badger.
I like to look at myself as a hybrid. I don't really try to define a position. I don't want to be considered a corner or a safety. I want to be one of those specialists that my coach can use, at his disposal.
And one other birthday that I forgot to mention today, we didn't have a sound for it, born in 1914, Mr. Joe Louis. Do you know who the longest holder of the heavyweight belt was?
The heavyweight belt?
Yes.
I'm guessing it's probably Joe Louis. You
Right.
gave a pretty good clue there on that one there, Bobby.
Give you a little nugget there, but he held
Not exactly Jeopardy there.
Well, he held the heavyweight title
Yeah.
from 37 to 49. And then we get to the scene, the barbershop scene from Coming to America.
That's right, yeah.
Where he ultimately lost and then gets
Rocky Marciano.
Gets beat by Rocky Marciano. Joe Louis only lost 69 professional fights, 52 knockouts, and only lost 3 times.
He lost 3 times?
Yeah.
Shark, who did he lose to? You know?
I wasn't alive for that, Tito. Bob, do you know where he's buried?
Do I know
I think
where
in
he
the ground.
Is he buried in Arlington?
You got it.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I guess so. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, he was in the military, correct? Yeah, he served in World War II. So, there we go. Some holidays observances for today. Sorry, I was diving down the Joe Louis wormhole yesterday. Oh goodness, it is cough drop day, which I eat about 3 cough drops every single morning during this show. International Hummus Day, National Apple Pie Day, National Fruit Cocktail Day. How about that? Top Gun Day, which is tremendous. Tulip Day and World Cocktail Day. And those are your historical events, your birthdays, your passings, your holidays, observances for this date, May 13th, the 133rd day of the year, and 232nd day in this 2025. Sorry, I about had a stroke there. With that
I thought I was having a stroke. I'm glad you guys saw it also.
That light started shining, flashing in my eyes. What type of jokes do chickpeas like that off?
Oh, this sounds like something Caleb asked you.
No, this is a Bob original.
Which one? What are they like?
Hummus ones.
Oh, you know, I've never had hummus before.
I'm sorry about that.
What's it taste like?
Ground up chickpeas.
Like, what's its texture? Is it like a...
I don't know. It can taste like whatever you want it. They put the seasonings in it. They mix it up. Do you eat hummus, Shark?
Never.
You've never had it either?
I don't like the looks of it.
That is true. I will say this. I never had hummus until I was probably either in college or early NFL. My wife forced me to try it. I didn't know what it was. She's like, it's good for you. It's, healthy, all this different stuff. And I'll never forget, I was in New England, and hummus has been around for 1,000 years.
It's Irish, right?
Greek.
Oh, it's Greek.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's chickpeas and olive oil. They grind it up and whatever. And I was playing in New England with Nico Kudavinis, and we drafted Dante Hightower, and he was there. He's like, man, this hummus is great, man. When did this get created? And he's like, I've never heard of it before. And Nico was like, my people have been eating this for 1,000 years, Dante. He's like, don't give me that crap. But I was like, dude, I was from Lancaster, Ohio. I didn't know what hummus was. We didn't have hummus growing up. And it wasn't until I was my wife allowed me to expand my horizons, if you will, that I was able to try some of the delicious.
And you
hummus.
like it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You got to put something on it, right?
Well, no,
Seasoning.
you can have it plain or whatever, but then they have red pepper, they have all kinds. They have like even sweet dessert style hummuses, but you can dip crackers in it, some carrots.
Did you like it the first time you tried it?
Or
is
it wasn't
like
bad.
Beer?
No, it wasn't like beer. It wasn't.
Beer, you have to acquire a taste for it.
Well, when you're young, you like sweet stuff. That's why I used to drink those Mike's Hard Lemonades all the time. That off. Or Shark.
Either one.
Guys.
Tomato. Bill said he did a search on my name, and there's no sites that have anything about it, so he finds it disturbing. One just from an AI bot. And then somebody said I'm German because he went to high school with my father in Delphus. And
everybody from Delphus is German?
I don't know. That he got the nickname. My dad's nickname is Dinger, but I don't know what that has to do with German, but they...
Doesn't have anything to do
I think
with
that was Hitler's nickname, too.
Thank you It's almost like Bobby said that. That's a good one there, Shark. Bobby, well done on that history, this date in history again. Sorry for derailing you a couple of times there. Coming up next, we've got some good Buckeye football news and maybe some not so good Buckeye football news. That's a hell of a tease there, Bobby. That's next. Morning Juice.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Teachers are dynamic leaders. shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other, leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
Within 15 seconds of logging onto social media, the algorithm has your daughter in its crosshairs. It sends her a steady flow of images telling her she isn't thin enough, pretty enough. They invade her brain, causing body dysmorphia, anxiety, depression, leading to the worst rates of eating disorders, self-harm, and suicide we have ever known. All while she's sitting right next to you on her phone. Congress knows, but it refuses to act. Don't let her suffer the secret pain alone. Use your voice. Demand a plan. Join us at the Center for Countering Digital Hate, protectingkidsonline.org, because it's up to you to protect your children from social media nightmares. Join us for her, for your daughter.
Tito has had 2 wives. They've both been named Heather. If you know someone named Heather, please warn her. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice, that is a fact. What they just said. 2 wives, both named Heather. Hard to do. Bobby, so news came out. You want to do the good news first or the bad news about
I'm a big bad news guy beforehand because that'll be rather just kind of bite the head off the shark, if you will.
Wow. Got personal
Or
there,
off the
all
snake.
of a sudden. There we go.
I like to say shark.
I've never heard bite that off the shark, but that sounds like something a forward linebacker would say. You, Schlegs, and AJ would probably say bite the head off the shark. So the game against Texas for Ohio State, August 30th, the season opener with a couple of, what we fully anticipate with a couple of top 5 teams. It came out yesterday. 11 Warriors had this, and I think even Fox put it out there, that the game was going to be a big noon game.
I don't know if that's been
Well, then they took it down. They took it down after so Fox first put it out there. They did. They did announce it. They did they did put it on, I think it was on, they had an announcement that made its way on social media, but then they took it down after that. Bobby, the fact that Fox gets the first 3 picks of games, they're taking Ohio State, Texas. They get
Ohio State as much as they want. Like, there is no limit on how many times.
I thought they had to do the first 3 picks, though. Like, they got of games total. They took Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, and Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah, but I think they have the Tier 1 rights, like, for everything. This isn't like it was with ESPN before. Yeah, they get as many. They can take Ohio State as many times as they want. There used to be limits on that and how it operated. That's why Ohio State's been on Big Noon 6 more times than anyone else. That's why last year they were on it a ton. So, yeah, maybe they do get like the first 3 or 4 picks, but that doesn't mean that if, someone else picks, if CBS or NBC picks whatever, then they can't go back and still pick Ohio State if there's another decent game. But anybody that thought that Fox wasn't going to take Ohio State and Texas, that's just disingenuous thinking on your behalf.
And we talked about this yesterday, Bobby, and you talked about the atmosphere for the Tennessee game, and then you spoke personally about the atmosphere of the 05 Texas game when you were playing in that one here at night. And I saw, because all the computers and everything and the smartphones listen to us, it popped up on my Twitter feed, you guys entering the field against Texas in 05. And it was incredible. So the noon kick is going, if it is a noon kick, it's going to bother a lot of Ohio State fans. What are the effects of that? Like, does it have any kind of effect on recruiting? Because I like to have people there for those
That
kind of games.
affects on a lot of things. So, number one, when you talk about the recruiting, it's tougher to get people in. You can do it.
Sure.
But if you're bringing people in nationally, you can fly in for a Saturday night game morning of.
Sure.
You're going to have a hard time getting here if you have any type of connection or a flight over 2 hours to get here. I mean, you wake up at 7, you could be on a plane at 6 sometimes for some of the directs.
Sure.
You're probably going to have a hard time getting connected and getting here prior to the game, especially if you want to have that game experience where you're doing the skull walk and everything else and all those different things. So, yeah, like that's one issue with it. Number two, just the general game environment itself. I went to Oklahoma last year. I went to Georgia. Where else? And I went to Notre Dame. But two of those, Oklahoma and then especially Georgia. Georgia was playing Tennessee. It was a night game. It was a remarkable environment. And I talked to Ross Bjork about how great it was down there and what they did during the game and how it was just a much better situation than what we had up here. I know that wasn't always the case. Like the 2 night games I played in here in 03 and 05, it was tremendous. And then night games early on were a lot better, but since it had just become watered down and not bad, the night game was still better than a noon game, but all of the production that went into it and everything was the focus. The game was the focus of everything, the play on the field. So trying to get them to kind of change and modify that, and they did. Then all of a sudden I saw the Tennessee game, like, man, this game is sweet.
Yeah.
You're playing the playoff, and you didn't have to do some of the stuff that you did normally during the year. And so this was a much different paradigm. Like, wow. So it can be done. You can have that type of environment. And I was listening to Bo talk a little bit about this yesterday. It's just a function of you're trying to balance the selling and the endorsement of different activities or time locations and marquees during the game with obviously doing that for the financial element with also creating a great in-game experience. And so those two things, like trying to straddle that it can be tough. And so, yeah, they're going to be working on that and trying to do that the very best that they can. I know that, that's something that Ross has dove into, and this was handed off to him this year. Like, you don't make those changes like right before the season as you come in. And so sometimes those are multi-year commitments. So they've got to try to figure that out the very best way they can.
It's interesting to me, Bobby, that because, and I'm not saying throw blame around, but the reason this happens is because the Big Ten wanted to do this for the money, for the Fox deal.
Yeah, Kevin Warren, I mean,
But the teams had to sign off on it, didn't they?
They did.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because every other school and every other team outside of Ohio State and probably Michigan, Penn State, there's like 3 or 4.
Right.
Well, Ohio State drives the majority of the value with all of this.
Sure they do.
They're happy just to get their checks, so they're going to sign off to anything. You think Indiana cares when they play? You think Illinois cares? You think Iowa cares?
They just want the cash. They want the check.
They give us our check, and we'll just say thank you. And so, yeah, they don't care. They're getting $90 million or whatever it is.
Which is why we got to kick them out of the Big Ten, Bobby.
That's
kick them out of Big Ten football.
That's a whole other conversation that we could have about your obligation. If you are going to be in the Big Ten, your obligation to uphold the quality of the Big Ten. But they're just happy to say yes. And take the check. And so I was under the assumption under the old system, when ESPN had the Tier 1 rights and then Fox and BTN and stuff were involved with it, ESPN they had like the 3 first choices, just like Fox did.
Yeah.
But then there was limits to how many times you could choose Ohio State.
Okay.
And under this new agreement, like Fox takes Ohio State anytime they can. I want to say, whoever took, I don't know what game it was, like maybe Iowa, Michigan or something like that. I'm just kind of making that up. But that's why that Ohio State-Nebraska game was on at Big Noon. There was a couple Big Noon games that probably weren't worthy of it because one of the other partners in their first choice took what was in theory a better game that week.
Right.
And then you threw like Ohio State, Nebraska, or Iowa or whatever on at noon. Maybe Iowa was 3:30, but there was Ohio State played 6 or 7 or 8 noon games last year, which I'm fine with. You want to play Akron at noon? You want to play Grambling at noon?
Yeah.
Cool. Probably play the Nebraskas, the Michigan States, the Iowa's in there at the 3:30, and then Michigan's always at noon, I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all part of tradition. And then if you have a big non-conference game, that's a night game Pick one other big game if you have one throughout the year. Put that at night at home. And if you have a road game, whatever, do with those as you want. But for the home games, that night environment is a huge advantage. And when you're playing these things at noon, Texas is going to be a night game next year.
It will be, absolutely. At Texas will be a night game. 100%. They'll get that benefit, yes.
They're going to get that. And so you are getting cheated out of this. So we will see. I know that Ross has been working on this and trying to see what they can do. Fox is like, well, it's the biggest time slot for us. It would be the biggest time slot if you put it at the night for the evening for this game because it's the biggest game. So put it in there. And it's going to be a huge environment. And this is two of the biggest brands that you are going to find. So I don't know why jamming them at noon, which is a 11 a.m. Eastern kick or 11 a.m. Central kick for that local market in Texas. Sure, you're going to get people to watch, but you'd get more people to watch if it was at night.
Absolutely you would, yes. And it feels like, I'm not sure how long this media rights deal lasts, but it feels like that's something, is it 10 years? Is it?
Yeah, there's a good chance you won't be alive by the end of it, off.
That feels awfully personal, but yes, you're probably right about that.
Shark for sure.
Well, Shark will
this Cavs series is going to kill him this year, so he might not make it to this season.
It very well could. By the way, Ohio State now let's get to the good news part of things. They have added.
I thought that was the good news.
That wasn't the good news, Bobby. They have about what Bjork said. He wants to improve the environment at both the shoe and the shot this year, but he only has so much he can do regarding that. The
there's contracts in place. Like you can't just do away with those things as much as people may love to. Like there are commitments that have been made, and those commitments have to be honored.
And those commitments also lead to why Ohio State's got money to spend, and why they line the pockets.
They have money to spend. They have money that they spend.
There we go. Jordan Thomas is a cornerback in the class of 2026. And he was Ohio State's top target. This is on Bucknuts, and he has committed to Ohio State. He is from Oradell Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. He is a 4-star, and looks like, according to some of the he's 6'1", 185. He is the country's number 125 overall prospect, number 16 cornerback, and number 2 prospect in New Jersey. So they are continuing. Look, Ohio State, we can say they're wide receiver U. You can say they're
called BIA for the defensive backs. Do you know what that stands for?
BIA. BIA. But don't look at me like that, Shark. I've heard BIA. I don't know what it stands for.
He has it in his tweet that he talked about.
I didn't see it. What's BIA? Builders in America.
Yes.
Close.
You got two, and there's no A.
Builders. Backs in America? No.
Close. We're getting there. Best in America.
Have you ever heard of the Silver Bullets?
You know it's Shark. We're
okay,
not gonna
no, I just wanted to check.
I know. Listen, I figured someone who's defensive backs. If I don't know something, I don't ask about it. I just act like I knew it.
You know what? That's the best way to go through life. I honestly, Thidoff, I have a lot of respect for you.
Thank
if
you.
I don't know something, I don't ask about it. I just go through acting.
Why would I ask about it?
Acting as if I know. Act as if, Thidoff. That's all you need to do.
Until this point, I didn't look like an idiot about not knowing it. Now it's out in public. Now I do. But for the longest time now, since BIA first started happening, when people were talking about it.
Kerry Combs talked about BIA.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Kerry Combs hasn't been here since 2020.
Sounds like it's out.
There is a BIA.
Sounds like it's dated.
For builders, too.
Okay,
so
thank you.
Wrong about
and
that.
I used to work in the roofing industry.
They do that.
When was the last time you did construction, Thidoff?
I didn't say I did construction. I worked in the roofing industry, though.
What does that mean? What did you do?
I sold.
You sold roofs?
Sold roofing.
Okay. So when was that?
That would have been probably 1992.
Okay. Over as soon as you said that, over a quarter century ago.
Okay, yeah.
I don't need to be good at math, but as soon as you added the 19 to it, that's over a quarter century
You're
ago.
right. That is fair. That's fair, yes.
So
BIA was big back then.
That may have been 2 marriages ago.
At least 2 that we know of.
At least, there you go.
At least 2 that we know of. I may have gotten married accidentally in Vegas on one of my trips. It's really hard telling. But yes, so now I know best in America. It's not builders in America anymore.
He had that in the bottom of his like post. I don't know what it was on.
I'm a headline guy, Bobby. I don't really do the deep dive on this stuff.
There was maybe 15 words written underneath it about his decision.
After 11,
after
the first 4.
Home. BIA.
Ohio State gets DB. That was the story for me, Bobby, right there. I didn't know about the BIA stuff. But anyway, getting back to my point, Ohio State is quickly becoming DBU, are they not?
I think they actually had this I forget who put it out. We talked about it, Schlegel and I did on my YouTube show in the afternoon. and schools that own position groups. And Ohio State, there was wide receivers. It was either a whole or share over like the last quarter century. I forget what the time duration was, maybe a decade or two, of most players drafted and maybe like highest players drafted, some sort of metric at this position. And wide receiver was on there. Defensive back was up there. I think D-line, maybe not D-line, linebacker. There was like 5 of whatever you would deem like the 8 or 9 the 9 overall positions. And, Ohio State was in the running for that. So, yes, there's a number of position groups where they've produced an outsized level of talent relative to the national populace for college football. And wide receivers, one of them, defensive back has been another. Anytime you can have 2 players from the same position go in the first round in any given draft, which they've had that happen before with corners, it's pretty darn impressive. And they've had some really good safety play as well. And I think there's the anticipation that Caleb Downs will be a first-round pick at safety next year.
I got to believe I'd be shocked if he wasn't, because he gets a lot of hype about being maybe the best defensive player in college football this year coming up. And he certainly had his moments last year, comes in as advertised. And, I got to believe, Bobby, he will be a first-round pick. I don't know if he builds or not or what his woodworking background is, but if he sells roofing, he might know about that BIA thing. I'm getting blasted on the chat about that, by the way. I'm sorry. Okay. I never asked. Coming up next.
I never asked.
Coming up next, we'll let you some quick hitters. Leo is in the news. We'll do that next. This is Morning Juice.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around at golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-2845-44. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. I care deeply about creating a world we can all fully participate in, free from stigma, misperceptions, and barriers. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Rooted in communities nationwide, Easter Seals helps empower millions of people, regardless of age or disability, through its life-changing services and powerful advocacy. Today and every day, Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
Tito invited the new Russian family who moved in down the street to watch Rocky IV. It did not go well. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. By the way, okay, Bobby and Shark, What does NCAA stand for?
National
Collegiate Athletic Association.
You're wrong. You're wrong. It is North Central Athletic Association, who I played soccer with when I played for the Hounds.
Stop it.
I'm just telling you. See, we have different acronyms for everything.
The sound.
You want to tell us? Let's
play the sound.
If you don't want to play it, I'll play it.
I told you I can't. Oh, that.
This is, I mean.
I thought it was I was waiting for quick hitters. That's me. You're right. That's me.
Hear the sound.
Okay.
You
That's
know
me.
what it is. That means it's a Tuesday. And just because you're on the stream, it did not go away. It is still here and ready to go. The Appetizer Tuesday is going to be here with you. And today's featured appetizer, they're delicious. They're tasty. They're mini corn dogs, the bite-sized little corn dogs that are served with a side of mustard. Simple food at its finest. I think they said that's your favorite, right?
Well,
simple food for a simpleton.
That's what it is. Look, a little hummus on it or whatever they call that stuff. But
I don't think you have to put hummus on it.
Hey, look, the best thing is whenever we order the corn dogs for the kids, I get home and there's always a couple missing. Like they always forget to put like 2 in there. And the kids get all upset. And I'm like, guys, I don't know. I'm not going back out to get it though.
Oh yeah.
Because
exactly. Yeah. They're great if you have a wood allergy and you don't like the stick. All right. So don't worry about that. And listen, here's the best part. If you stay locked in, Roosters is so great. You can see a little rooster right here hanging out with me. They're going to be giving away a $50 gift card for playing. That's what he said. So stay locked in here. What time are we doing that, Sharky?
I'm going to say about 7:20.
7:20.
What do you think, Tito? You're the boss.
7:20 sounds about
right. It
right.
was Tony Danza. Who's the boss?
No, we can't do it at the beginning. We're going to have to do it like at
the end.
7:37.
7:37. That sounds good. We'll give it away then. So right after Schlegel. So stay locked in here with us, and we'll make sure to get you that $50 Roosters gift card. Now it's time for some quick
I'm not
hitters.
playing that one. That one's Shark.
Oh.
Remember now, Shark? Shoes on the other hand.
Shoes on the other hand.
Morning Juice presents Quick Hitters.
Sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP.
Good morning, Shark.
I'm going to figure out this system here in the next
guy.
Don't worry. By the time the day you leave will be the day you've got it all figured out.
I've
Perfect.
Got, under 50, Bob. Under 50 days to go. So
oh my gosh.
Coming fast. Chris Burman graduated from Brown, 1979. Went to work for a startup cable channel in nearby Connecticut called ESPN. He and Bob Lee and Tom Mees were all there in the first month of ESPN. Mees died 29 years ago. Lee retired in 2019. Burman still there, and he's going to be there a while longer. Boomer has signed an extension that will carry him through 2029. Bobby, that will make him the first ESPN employee to hit the 50-year mark.
It's pretty darn impressive. And growing up watching Burman was remarkable. And then getting a chance to meet him and get to know him while I was working up there was awesome. We'd watch the games on Sundays. And it was right after he retired. And then his wife died in a car wreck. And it was just terribly tragic. And so he came back to work because I don't think, you plan on retiring with someone. And I think he was just looking for something to do. And now he's been back there, still doing a great job, still iconic. And it was funny. I used to talk to Paul Pasqualoni, was my linebacker coach in Dallas. Coached a long time at Syracuse, and he goes, I would go recruiting through Connecticut when he was an assistant there. And he goes, they're building this building. He's like, they're going to build this thing that people just watch sports all day. He's like, who the heck thought that was going to work? Because we were all wrong. He's like, who the heck wants to watch sports all day long?
Right.
And Chris Burman was right there at the launch. And I always enjoyed talking to him because he would love, right? Like you said, he came in 79, 80.
79, yeah.
79 is when my dad was still playing, like early in my dad's career. And I think you always kind of remember the start of your stuff better, but he always had some great stories about that to be able to share with me. So kudos to Burman. If you're doing what you love, Shark, they say you never work a day in your life. And why would you ever want to quit? Now you get to be in here and just be part of Cool in the Gang. That's Cool with a K.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
He doesn't always like what he's doing.
Burman, well, yeah, there's been
times
times
we've heard a
when
F-bombs
What do you
drop.
think Chris Burman would have said yesterday at the start of the show?
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear shoes, right? Because he sweats so much.
Is that true?
I've heard that.
I think that might be accurate. I've never been on set with him. I've always just been like in the building hanging out with him.
Man, he and Tom Jackson had about a 30-year run.
They did it forever on the Sunday night primetime. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Is it Butcher? Levy sweats a ton. The Sports Center studio up there, it's colder than that studio over there. I mean, I would have to walk out in the hall, get ready to go. It is sub 67. It's like 66, 65 degrees.
Sweatiest, this is like a Top Gun segment, sweatiest sports anchors. And you're saying it's Burman and Levy. Do you have a favorite nickname they used to do, Shark? You always did the nicknames. I think his first one he did was John Mayberry RFD, if I'm not mistaken. But he had Burt Be Home Bly 11 was always a good one for me. I like that one too. Jose, can you see Cruz?
What was the pitcher's name? Lysander. He called him, let's say Joe. Joe Innocent Lysander.
Oh, see, yeah, he was good at that stuff. Yeah, done it a long time. I remember the first days of ESPN. We had it. We had cable. Now I sound like we had that old internet thing. We had the internet, the interwebs, the World Wide Web. We had the cable at home and got ESPN early on. A lot of Australian rules football.
Yep.
A lot of the roller derby stuff. They would have that on there, I think, sometimes as well. But, it's amazing what it's grown to.
You know, in 1979, we had cable TV in Ashland, but we didn't get ESPN. And once a month, I would call the local cable company.
You were the ones who did, yeah.
And I moved to Columbus in 83, and that was when I first got ESPN.
Right.
I would watch it when I went on vacation, and they would carry it in that market or whatever. But, I went first 4 years of my ESPN life without seeing.
I went the first 18 years of my life without ESPN.
Didn't have cable TV.
I didn't get cable until we got to college.
Seriously?
It wasn't in Lancaster. It was the fact that we didn't have cable television.
It was a choice. It wasn't. It was
a
an option, but it wasn't a choice.
It
was a choice for you guys.
It was a choice for my parents, not for me.
Yeah.
Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope, has become an instant hit among trading card collectors. Didn't know there was a trading card for popes, but Leo's Topps Now card was released on Thursday and has set an all-time record for any non-sports card within that brand. Tito, more than 133,000 copies were sold as of yesterday afternoon.
Can we all agree that he's the other Leo? Because we got the Leo that sings the anthem. That's Leo. Okay, this guy, the Pope, he's the other Leo. But I had no idea also, Shark, I guess it's his rookie card, right? It's his first card, I got to believe, right?
69-year-old rookie.
A 69-year-old rookie, yeah. But I think you've got to be.
How about we do this?
Yes.
Over under 30-year reign.
Oh, gosh. It's under. He's 69, yeah, it's
20-year reign.
I'd go under on that one, too.
You think so?
Yeah,
He's in pretty good shape. He doesn't look 69.
No, he doesn't. I thought he was like he's got to be in the realm for one of the younger popes, at least for the last 100 years.
I'm going to say I'll go over under 18, Bob. That'd make him,
take the over.
87?
I'll take the over.
Yeah. You think over 18 years?
Yeah, with his relationship with the Lord and his high level of income.
Well,
or not
the other ones have a
income,
relationship with the Lord, too, and also died.
Yeah, but most of them have lived till they've been pretty old.
Yeah, but
How old was Pope Francis when he died? 87?
I don't know who Pope Francis was. Is this something we should
I don't know who Pope Francis was. He was the last
No, I said I don't know when it was. I said I don't know when it was. No. Come on,
he
seriously.
was the last guy.
You know what he was? He was a BIW. He was the best in the world.
No, that's true.
For a while. I don't know if you guys knew that phrase or not.
I knew he was from South America.
Is that where he's from?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was 87.
He born in 36, died in he was
85.
He was 88 when he passed away.
He was born in 26, so he was close to 89. So when I
there
said 30
Bob.
years, I'm not.
Okay, but he was head of the Catholic Church.
Okay, it doesn't.
From March 2013.
Yeah.
Until he died in 2025.
So he had a 12-year run.
But he also came in a lot older.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I don't think.
Okay,
I can't believe I can't believe it's hell being the Pope.
I'm 64. He's 69. Leo.
Okay.
Who lives longer?
Oh, I think you do.
He does.
I got Shark on this one.
No, he does.
Okay, Bob, anything to add to that story, to that quick hitter?
My addition was the over-under of 30 years, which everybody thought was ludicrous until we realized he was 88 when he died, which would have put him at 30 years should he have taken over with our most recent pope.
I don't know what ludicrous has to do with that.
I don't know why.
Story.
Yeah, it's.
If the 2013 NBA draft was held all over again, no doubt Giannis Antetokounmpo would be the number one selection. But back then, he was playing in Europe. He was very raw. He wasn't chosen until 15th by Milwaukee, one of the great value picks in history. The Greek Freak has spent 12 seasons with the Bucks, been an NBA Finals MVP, two-time NBA MVP, six-time All-League first team. Very loyal to the city of Milwaukee. But the Bucks are at a crossroads. They don't have a first-round pick until 2031. Their hands are tied with the salary cap, mainly because Damian Lillard will be paid $54 million next season, even though he won't play. So the Bucks may use their biggest asset to rebuild the roster and restock the draft. Bobby, sources report that the team is exploring trade options for Giannis.
Well, I mean, he's been there. He brought him one title. You could argue that maybe he should have brought him more. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So what do? Dame's done, and he's not going to be playing this year. And by the way, he's getting older. Heck, I mean, he's been playing for a long time. You don't have the assets around him. You gambled to try to bring in Dame and get it done, and you didn't. It didn't work. He's been pretty good, but honestly, they haven't been a real contender for a while, it feels like. I mean, you could argue Boston and Cleveland have both been better than them, even though you have one of the best players in the world. And so I understand why they're doing this. People in Wisconsin are not going to be happy about it, but I guess he could stay through this, probably what would be a 3-year rebuild and kind of waste a good chunk of his prime, or you could get assets for him and try to move back and see what you can ultimately get done. Because they, like you said, they've given away all of their picks to build this team around him. 2031, I mean, that's 6 years from now.
There's been 11 popes with reigns of 33 days or less.
33 days?
Or less, yes. 11 popes. The shortest one, Pope Urban, the 7th, from September 15th to September 27th, 1590. He reigned for 13 days.
Wow.
And then died.
You know who the original pope was? The very first pope.
You know what? I'm afraid to give any answers after what's happening today.
No,
it's like
Pope Mark the First.
St. Peter.
He was a pope?
The one that betrayed Jesus was the first pope.
I thought Judas was.
Denied Jesus.
There
You're
you
right.
go, denied. See?
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Peter denied him
right.
3 times before the crow.
That's
ha!
right. There you go. That
NCAA, BIA, JTT.
That was our first pope, and now we have 267 of them.
We've had 267.
Well, this is the 267.
Yeah, I'm saying there's not
Leo.
like 267 currently.
Tito.
Yes.
What do you have to say about Giannis?
Look, I think he'd make a hell of a pope. I think, look, the Giannis thing, yes. Look, he's still in his prime. And where some of these other guys, like LeBron, are at the tail end. LeBron is somebody who cannot, he's got to have a lot of help. And a lot of things go the right way for him to win another title. Same thing with Steph Curry.
Because he's only averaging 25, 8, and 7.
Still, and where they at? So,
3rd seed in the West.
Where they at? They're watching the playoffs is what they're doing. I'm just saying that Giannis can go to a team and be a very important part. They can put little parts around. But LeBron, even adding Luka, they couldn't get past the first round of the playoffs. They still need a center. They don't have no cap space. Giannis, so yes, I wonder if... So Dallas won the lottery, gets the number 1 pick. If Milwaukee called them and offered them Giannis for the number 1 pick, which team says no?
Cooper Flag.
Right.
Basically.
Okay, but who would say no, though? Would Dallas say no or Milwaukee say no?
That's a really good question, because is Kyrie still going to be good in 3 or 4 years when Cooper Flag's really hitting his prime?
Right. Anthony
you
Davis.
got Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, because you could probably put together a nice 3-year run with Giannis and those two guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if Cooper Flag, because it was kind of the Kevin Love situation in Cleveland, trying to keep somebody. What was his name? They traded. It was with Golden State. Who did they trade?
Wiggins.
Wiggins.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins. So that's kind of it. You have to kind of go all in on what your timeline is, and I was Dallas, I would probably do that.
I don't know how it would work with the numbers and everything, but yeah, I just wonder if that would be something that would entice them.
Took a couple of months, but the University of Texas Board of Regents has finally approved the contract of new head basketball coach Sean Miller. He's getting a 6-year, $32 million contract from the Longhorns, which is nearly double that of his predecessor, Rodney Terry. Miller had been at Xavier, and then the Musketeers beat Texas in the first 4 of the NCAA tournament in March, and then, Tito, they stole the coach that beat them.
They did, yes. Look, I think it's a good hire for Texas. I've always thought Miller was a good coach. I know he's had some ups and downs in different places.
Speaking of sweaty.
Oh, no doubt. You're right.
Very sweaty.
sweatier than Steve Levy, Bobby, you think?
Oh, well, I don't know how sweaty Steve Levy would be because I've never seen him on the sideline now.
Right.
Or if you put Sean Miller in an icebox, would he still sweat? I think that's the question. But I'll tell you this. Sean Miller would probably at least be win, place, or show in a couple wet T-shirt contests that I've seen.
And it wouldn't need any water thrown on him.
And when he was at Arizona, Coach, there was a couple times that I'm not sure that shirt was leaving anything to the imagination.
And that was back when they had to wear jackets and ties, and that jacket would be off in the first half, and his shirt was soaked. Good
You
coach.
think he wore a thin shirt on purpose to show how hard he was working? Like you would think you would find a way. Because there's medicine you can take. There's stuff you can take to cut back on your sweating, right? Am I wrong on that?
Is that a thing?
I thought there was a thing where if you had like massive perspiration, there was some kind of either medication or maybe it's a black market ointment. I'm not sure. I thought there was something where you could apply that would help you not sweat.
I think it's called antiperspirant.
But I think it was like anti, like super anti plus.
I
don't know.
He walked in that they would have like an antiperspirant machine. He just walked into naked, like one of the old cash explosion things. You just walk in and they give you a mask so you can breathe and just sprays it all over your body.
Like a spray tan.
That could be, Bobby.
Do you know where he got his last name?
Miller?
Was he a baker?
We've come full circle.
Yes, we've come full circle on that one. But no, like Sean Miller, by the way, the fact he doesn't have a commercial with like Degree or something like that, or Old Spice, like deodorant, he's missing the market. He's missing a huge market in that one where he could get some money for marketing some kind of antiperspirant that if he finds one that actually works. All right. Good job by you, Shark.
Thank you.
Thank you as always on that one. All right, coming up next. Look, I am tasked with crafting teases before each segment. This one is easy, and it practically writes itself. Schlegel, next.
Once there was a man who couldn't stand.
A mom who couldn't wait.
A scientific community that said it couldn't be done.
And then you.
And then I.
And then we.
Brought neuromuscular disease into screaming color with the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
For 75 years, our voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
We've willed the impossible into existence.
We've pushed the science,
raised the funds,
shifted the narrative,
and transformed the reality of life with neuromuscular diseases.
For 75 years, we've built communities together.
Established the field of neuromuscular medicine,
and made it thrive.
Call that a legacy.
Call it impact.
Call it momentum.
Just call it ours.
Because it's the generations of community heroes that give MDA the strength we have today.
And until neuromuscular disease is a thing of the past, you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids, and I've got a good job.
Bye, Mom. See you, Mom.
A pretty important job. Because of my family and my job, I really care about this neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. Yes, there's some crime. And when I drive to work, like now, I realize that some people here don't trust the police. So the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you, as a police officer, that this department is reaching out to the community, and the community is doing its part. We're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere. This is how we can all be safer. Get involved. Start the conversation.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/prevent violent crime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fan favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Proud to be your go-to sports addiction.
WBNS, WBNS-FM, HD3 Columbus.
The Fan 3, Ohio sports destination. Bobby is known as the General. Tito shops at Dollar General. This is Morning Juice.
down that rabbit hole. No. So I look back and it was like there's things that I definitely could have taken care of better. That's how, honestly, it's funny when you play a game, I don't know, this is just me, but when you play the game, I think I look back on my memories of it are mostly the losses and the things that I could have done better. Like that's it. But and also,
I doubt there was much you could have done better. I mean, you were pretty solid, Coach. You know, I mean, I think Fick would tell you that you were just the epitome of what he was looking for as a player and as a man.
Well, the thing that I'm talking about, Bob, like, you know, if you want longevity, and it's what I tell guys that are going.
Who doesn't want to last longer, Schlegs?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? Right? Like, these are life goals that we're always talking about. So I like to spill some wisdom to the children out there. It's just like, hey, man, like here's what you really need to do when you're in this moment. Like, you could be the toughest guy in the world and a great teammate and stuff, but I mean, if we're talking about careers, it's like, or even like your kids when they're going to colleges and they're starting new teams, like, dude, just be the best football player you can be, whatever that looks like. You know, don't be focused on being the best linebacker. Like, just add value. What does that mean for your body? Hey, it doesn't mean that you need to weigh 250, Schlegs. I mean, like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it means that you need to weigh, 235, and be able to bend and play in space so you can cover a tight end down the middle, right? Like, that's what it is. But here's the blessing, though, silver lining in all this, is that I get to look back and say that I got to play at a really high level with a lot of great teammates. So, Buckeyes.
Yep, there you go. Schlegs, we apologize. Some of the audio was down for a while, and people are ticked off because they can't hear the whole thing and hear the beginning of it.
You know what, Schlegs? You're an operations guy. You're an operations and efficiency guy. I mean, when you were trying to prepare and launch something new, how would you go about doing that? If you had something you were planning at the Armory and said, hey, we have this new initiative or this new thing is really important, how would you plan and go about getting that launched to make sure that it was as flawless as possible when everything was ready to happen?
Well, let me tell you, like, at the Armory, we play at the flag and execute kind of fast sometimes. So, I mean, there's some people in there like, what are these slapjakes doing? But it all has a purpose. But I would tell you this, like, I'm launching that thing for the Hawken, and we just had a meeting the other day, and we're lightning fast. Like, we're literally 6 weeks deep into this partnership and creating something that hasn't been happened, and we're going at light speed, but it's like, hey, let's press pause. Like, what are the things we got to get dialed in? What are the things that we got to go? Do we really want to just like sell the first 50 and then go live? Like, do we want to have like strategic partner? Like, we're walking through this entire thing. Anytime you're going to do something, especially like a show, something that has to be consumed, like it's and heard and like the audio. And I mean, the hell, when I was with you on the last day of the Juice with Beam, like the dadgum YouTube cut out. Like, how does that even happen? I mean, you and I have done that Bobby Carpenter show. That never cuts out.
No.
I mean, what the Sam Dickens are we talking about? And then you want to describe like what you're talking about, Bob, and logistics and operations. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it seems like that's what's going on because very low GSF going down right now.
I was just going to say to the people, if they want to listen to it, we'll play back here. Check it out. I think it'll be on the podcast just fine. And on the 10 TV Plus, we'll replay that. That's all.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, here's the deal, guys. Like, if you have something that's going live, it is always. I'll give you this example. Like, we'll go at Ohio State, and there's like pro day, and we'll have nat drills, and we'll have all these different things. Like, we literally. Kenny's the best at it, but he'll go into Visio. You remember Visio, Bob? I hate Microsoft, but anyways, he'll go into Visio, and he'll write the entire thing in Visio, like every detail of where everything is going so everybody knows where they go, right? And then the interns, like, what are all the drills that are going on? Like, all that stuff is already set up, laid out, ready to rock and roll so you can walk out there and just coach, and guess what? It's ran effectively, and it's smooth. And like that's an operation. We do that all the time. It's so funny that, at Ohio State, I mean, you lose a game, like they rip your head off and, don't do your job. Like, you have to do your job. You got to do your job all the time. That's why I love high-level athletics. It teaches you to do things with a sense of urgency. It just seems like maybe people have no urgency there or don't want to do a job or really don't want a job. I don't know.
It's pretty remarkable, Schlegel. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, going through all of it.
Be honest with me, Bob.
Well, because Schlegel, you're an operations guy. I mean, that's what you focus on. And maybe people get upset about it because of your attention to detail, but detail, I think, is probably one of the most important things that you need and to make sure that everybody's holding the line. Because ultimately, Schlegel, when you're in charge, the buck stops with you, does it not?
Oh, my gosh. Traveler's gift all day, Bobby Carpenter. Traveler's gift. I have a decided heart. I have a decided heart that somebody needs to get their shit together and get the operations flowing over there. That's what I'm talking about.
Anthony Schlegel joins us here on Morning Juice.
Yeah, I am. I'm right here.
Schlegs, what kind of workout do you have planned for today?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
All right, this is a great one. So it's 7:12. I got a meeting in like 45 minutes. I'm just now leaving the phone. I just woke up. And my problem was because
tell it all.
I stayed up real late last night working. Anyways, got some stuff done. So my leg day today, this is what my plan is. I've been getting a little bit more girthy volume. So I'm gonna go 6 sets of 5, and I'm gonna work up to about 465 on my last set because I did like 425 last week for 6. I'm just going to ooze my way up there. And I'm going to do that for like my last 3 sets of that 5. And then I'm going to go, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm just going to do freaking heavy drop set leg press. Like warm up, like set of 25, 20, 15, 10, and then do a drop set. Then I'm going to hit probably something unilateral. I might do like a reverse lunge or a step up or I don't know what I want to do. Then I'm going to just do a freaking crap ton of hamstrings. All different kinds.
For speed, the speed legs is what you're about, Schlegel. Yeah, that's good. You want to make sure that your legs look good out there. You've got that elite speed. I like it.
My calves, bro, I'm dead serious, guys. My calves are just my calves. I know you guys make fun of me. I tried to do calves like old school Arnold style, just heavy volume every day. Then I couldn't walk for a week. So
Did they get any bigger?
No, I think they digressed. I grab them. Like I'm grabbing them right now as I'm talking to you. Like they're pretty dense. Like they're dense. Like they feel good, but they're just they're just not going to grow.
Schlegel,
so I'm gonna give up.
I was going to say that I don't know why I want to do this every time I talk to you, but I want to, I would love to see you, Carpenter, AJ, and Laurinaitis getting some kind of competition against each other, be it lifting weights, be it a combine type thing, and see what you. And I'm curious if you guys went through some kind of combine drills that you would have gone through as a linebacker coming into the NFL. Who would win that now?
Nah, shit, Bobby. Honestly, here's the deal. Bobby's the only one that runs.
I'm the only one that can run anymore.
They don't have no deadlift platform out there or squat platform. I don't know. His bench, I might be able to get them all benching. Even though my shoulder's terrible, I still bench a lot. Not as much as I used to, but they don't. And Bobby also played a lot longer in the league. They all played way longer in the league than I did, so they're more effed up than I am.
Yeah, but you're in better shape, right? You're in great, the shape you're in right now.
Oh, my gosh. No, man. There is a difference, about running shape and acceleration and change of direction than lifting and being shredded. That means nothing. I would need a month. I got to have a month, but I would look terrible in a pro shuttle right now or an L drill. I mean, oh my gosh, it would be a nightmare. I'd be interested to see what James could do.
James got that bad knee.
AJ, I ain't taking part in any of this.
Oh yeah, he's got the bad. When you got a bad wheel, man, you don't want to make it worse. So I get that. James and AJ both have the bad knee, and James already has to deal with it being on that turf. Which, how terrible is that field turf to stand on all day?
It's pretty terrible. But you know what, though? Like, charge it to win. You got to get used to it. You got to build up your foot, man. You got to build up your foot. Everything from the ground up. Walk out there, grassing. Get those little shoes that you have.
The grounding? You big into the grounding?
Yeah.
The little shoes Bobby has. What, does Bobby have like little thin running shoes, turf shoes?
Toe shoes.
Toe shoes?
Yeah.
I've never heard of toe shoes.
I'll
I'm surprised by that.
I'll show them to you.
Yeah, show them to them. Show them to them what we're talking about. Radio's the theater of the mind.
Schlegs, thanks so much for getting up with us today, buddy. We appreciate it. Enjoy your workout. Enjoy golf.
I'm going to, man. It's good to talk to you guys.
And we're going to do it again next week. All right?
All right. What's Tuesday? What week are we in?
What week are we in? What does that mean?
Let me know. I don't even know, man. Hey. All I know is this. Better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war. Pack it down, man. Let's go.
That was Anthony Schlegel. Joining us there, our morning juice. He's always got something there. I hope you paid attention to what you could listen to because we've got that's what he said. Coming up later, not right now. Coming up later, though, we will do That's What We Had. So I hope you paid very close attention. And quite frankly, I forgot some of the stuff he said because I got wrapped up there at the end, and he's always legendary. So love talking to him. All right. Coming up next, on January 4th, 2000, a newly hired head coach resigned his position before coaching a single game with that team. Will history repeat itself? That's next. Morning Juice.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
While serving in Vietnam, a grenade took my ability to see. Today, I'm a sculptor. Now, my fingers are my eyes. I'm Michael Naranjo. As a veteran, I know the challenges of life can be great. In my art, turning a lump of clay into something beautiful, that is worth doing. Life is like that. We each must use what we can to make things better.
DAV helps veterans like Michael get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
Now, I show others how they can create something with their own hands. I know it can do a lot of good. With support from DAV, more veterans can shape their lives into a thing of beauty. My victory is bringing beauty into the world.
Michael Naranjo, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Bobby knows what it's like to be a winner. Tito knows what it's like to be thrown out of an all-you-can-eat buffet.
You're here for an hour.
This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. Thank you, Anthony Schlegel, for joining us. We appreciate that. Always. You never know what you're going to get with Schlegel. You always know it's going to be entertaining, though, Bobby.
Usually. I'm going to tell you this. I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
That's true. That's true.
And I had never heard that little nugget before, and he dropped that out there right at the end. I feel like that's something that we need to peel back the layers on, Thidoff.
Yeah, every time I hear Schlegel on the radio, that's something I always have to. There's something I have to look up.
Always wait for the nuggets.
Yes, something I always have to go back and look up. Bobby, Pablo Torre came out last week and said that Bill Belichick's girlfriend had been banned from North Carolina's football facilities.
Fake news.
Well, and also that Belichick's got some inner circle people or family members that are concerned about, so to speak, his well-being or what's going on with him.
His well-being.
North Carolina and Belichick.
He has syphilis or something?
North Carolina came out after that, and they said that's not true. Now, Pablo Torre is safe to say, a respected reporter. He's been doing it for a long time. And
is he a reporter, though?
That's a good point.
More of a media personality.
Media personality. I think he was a reporter, but I think
that was many moons ago.
You're right. That's fair. Well, and now Pablo Torre is saying, he was on a podcast yesterday, and he said it would not surprise him if Belichick never coaches a game for North Carolina. Now, June 1st, Belichick's buyout like what he has to do. Right now, if he decided to leave North Carolina, he'd have to pay them $10 million, according to his contract.
You think he's going to decide to leave on that accord?
Not on that one, but after June 1st, it's $1 million.
If they fire him, what do they have to pay him?
I'm not sure on that one. I don't think they're going to fire him.
That's my point. Why would he resign? Out of shame?
It could be he realizes he's not going to enjoy the college game. It could be that.
Why would he retire? Why would he resign, though? Why wouldn't you just wait for him to fire him?
Do you think – because I don't think Bill wants to get fired. And I think that he wants his son.
He doesn't. He can tell it however he wants. With him and Robert Kraft, it was.
I did the same thing, right? But it
was mutual.
Right, it was mutual. That's right. But I think he wants his son to take over.
Yeah. So you think by resigning after not even coaching at all, and his son taking over, that's going to put his son in a position to succeed?
It gets his son a head coaching job. I don't know. Do you think his son would get a head coaching job anywhere else right now at a school like North Carolina?
He was the defensive coordinator at Washington.
I know.
Last year,
like,
they were pretty good on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. But do you think, though, that there's another school out there of North Carolina's ilk that would hire Steve Belichick as a head coach right now?
Maybe not this year. I think that they potentially would have, though, if he would have stayed at Washington and continued to have success. Now, maybe not something of the North Carolina status, but I think he could have gotten a head coaching job at some point.
He's
got a sweet mullet.
Do you think that Belichick, the way he's being portrayed by Pablo Torre, and also, though, like the way his girlfriend's being portrayed, his 24-year-old girlfriend, whatever she is.
Sounds great.
But the way he's being portrayed, it's probably, I don't know what your views are because you know Belichick a little bit.
Yeah.
Is it surprising to you? Do you think all of this is probably false? What do you
mean probably false? There's things that I've watched that have happened.
Right.
I mean, his girlfriend, it's not Jennifer Hudson, with Jordan Hudson. She's been around a lot.
Right.
I listened to her yell in to the CBS Sunday Morning interview and saw that happen. I mean, so there's been things that have happened that it's not a perception thing. Like, these are actual events. Now, I understand that you can cut film up and do a bunch of different stuff with it, but
sure.
I mean, there's pictures of her out on the practice field.
Right. Surprising.
When I was in New England, there was no non-football personnel ever on the practice field.
So does it surprise you to see that Belichick allows that?
Yes. So it's obviously that's happened. So a lot of the other things, like the patent filings and stuff like that, the fact that he wrote a book and has gone out and promoted it, and then promoted it in probably one of the worst ways possible.
Yeah.
Like those things are all real. So that's all kind of out of the character from the Bill Belichick that I, briefly knew, but talking to guys that played for him a lot longer or coached for him, yes, there are some things that I don't know if I'd just say that they're concerning. They're just significantly different than they were before.
Do you think if you had to wager a guess, do you think things will end well or end poorly for him at North Carolina?
There's a movie that came out in the 80s.
Bet I saw it.
I don't think so. Actually, you should have seen it, but did you? Well, you never cease to amaze me. And by the way, it's gotten significantly colder in here today.
Well,
today in history.
I've got some air on now.
I don't want the air on.
I know, but it was really hot in here. And,
I don't want it any. No, I'm gonna have to bring the heater over again.
Do it when you get your jerseys. We're still waiting on.
I don't. Believe me, I know
that's high on the list for things we want to get done around here.
Now wait a minute.
I just like to be on and live.
I'm over here with bated breath, waiting for this movie from the '80s because I'm wondering if I saw it.
I know you saw it.
I bet I did.
It's not
Vision Quest.
It's not Cannonball Run. It's not Vision Quest either. But there was a line in it that says everything ends badly or else it wouldn't end. And it was a young man who had just gotten out of the military. He was trying to find his way in this world, and he gets into the bartending scene. He meets up with another guy who was a bartender with him.
Is this Cocktail?
His last name was Coughlin. And he used to give him these little rules and these little laws.
Gave him to Flanagan.
And he gave them to young Flanagan. And one of them was everything ends badly or else it wouldn't end.
I've seen parts of it.
That's why I said why.
And then he took his own life, Coughlin.
Oh, that was. And then this final one
ended badly.
This final one was Bury the Dead. They stink up the joint.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen Cocktail yet, Shark just ruined it for you, but whatever, I guess.
30-plus years old.
Doesn't matter. Still spoiler alert before you say anything.
1988.
Was that 88?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I knew it was after Top Gun, but I didn't know how far.
37 years
I
ago.
worked at Fridays.
You
early 90s.
Fancied yourself?
I don't know. Listen,
the second bartender.
Another
poet?
BIA, Bartenders in America. But I did that, though, when I worked for Fridays as a server when I was in college for a while. And the bartenders were very much inspired by Cocktail, like some of the ways they would do things and all of that.
Flair?
So, yeah, the flair is what they called it. That's exactly what they called it, Bobby, the flair.
I've seen Cocktail, probably as many times as you've seen Cannonball Run.
Oh, it's been a lot, man. I'm telling you.
I was a big fan of Elizabeth Shue back then.
Oh, she's great in it. Gets pregnant. It's twins at the end.
I don't.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Elizabeth Shue, although she has had some other movies have come out, she's terrific.
Yeah.
That little go to Hawaii. He's out there working in Hawaii, gets a sugar mama to take him out there. It's really the dream. Young Flanagan is living the dream, if you will.
In all the times I've discussed Cannonball Run, I've never once given away the ending. And you guys are doing that right now with Cocktail.
Tito, did you make good tips as a server?
Oh, I was an awful server. Are you kidding me? I was awful.
Shocking.
I somehow find that
I was
not all that difficult to believe.
I was too often. I was MIA is what the problem was, and people wondered where their food was. We're talking about the hummus thing.
Taking those smoke breaks outside.
No, but yeah, the hummus thing though. You mentioned that. I did my first bagel with cream cheese till I was in my late 20s. I'd never had a bagel. I always had a bagel sandwich. Never tried cream cheese before until I was like maybe 30 years old. So I'm not a food connoisseur. And when people are asking questions about the menu at Fridays, I can't tell how many times they would order a steak or a burger, and I'd forget to ask, how do you want it cooked? And I have to go back to the table and say, hey, I forgot to. Oh, by the way, you get a salad with this. What kind of dressing do you like? That kind of thing.
Oh, by the way, you get a salad with this.
Right. That's the thing. I didn't do the entrees and what the just sandwiches and stuff were. I didn't always pay close attention to that stuff.
I didn't always pay close attention. So when someone asks you what you would recommend, I don't know.
You know what it was usually? Probably the mozzarella sticks and, maybe the kids' grilled cheese. Something like that. I don't know. I like the spin dips. For my spinach artichoke dip was there. That was good.
Anyway, as we've digressed to you working at Fridays.
Yes.
Were you fired from that job or did you quit?
Oh, no. I rarely got fired in my life. I quit a bunch of jobs, but I rarely got fired.
It's tough to fire when you don't show up enough.
Hey, I was going to break up with you before you broke up with me, Bobby. That was my motto. Okay. I got a tattoo on the small of my back that says that.
Of course you do. And so leaning back into everything else, everything ends badly or else it wouldn't end.
Go ahead.
I don't know how, I don't think that he's going to coach there for 5 years and then they're going to have some record of Ryan Day of 70-10 and it's going to go great. I think that they'll win some games. They'll be better than what they were. I just don't see the off-ramp for this as smooth as maybe what I saw at the beginning. And maybe this is just a phase for Bill. And then the Jordan Hudson situation. Or maybe these young two kids get married. I don't know. I mean, why do you laugh at that, Shark?
I think you might be onto something there, Bob. I think they're going to get married.
Do you remember when we did?
I'm going to bet that they have a kid. And Bill's going to be 90 when his kid graduates from high school.
Do you think when the kid is born, he automatically becomes like the head coach in waiting after Steve Belichick? Do you think Bill has it written into the contract that after I leave, Steve's the head coach? After Steve leaves, Junior's the head coach?
I wonder.
Junior's a girl?
Yeah, I wonder if the North Carolina. I heard that the athletic director, from people that I've talked to, were not overly. The AD wasn't overly enthusiastic about this hire, and it was more of a board of trustees thing.
Really?
And I'm curious if there's any buyer's remorse on that now. And maybe they're just saying, "Hey, get to the season. When we're 8-4, 9-3, we'll feel better about this, and we'll keep."
But that's Mac Brown territory.
Well, they weren't that last year.
Not last year. I'm saying by and large, though, Mac Brown was a 7, 8, 9 win guy. You don't hire Belichick for that. And I know might take more than 1 year to turn it around.
Yes.
But it's going to be much different for Bill, I believe. You tell me if I'm wrong on this, Bobby. But when he was in New England, a lot of the times he had superior talent.
No, that's not true.
Because of he drafted guys, though, that he knew could get better and would get better under him. Is that fair?
Maybe. I would say that he had appropriate talent to fit his scheme. In the NFL, I mean, very rarely you could argue that his most talented teams didn't win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So that's why he wins with lesser talent. I'm not worried about that. He needs to bring in some requisite talent, and he knows you need a quarterback. But I just looking at the off-ramp for this, like, how do I envision this going? I think that they'll probably win 8 games this year, assuming that there's not a rash of injuries and that they've selected guys appropriately. Year 2, like, that's when you're expecting the jump to happen, and that's when he'll have to do some work in the portal, make sure you're recruiting high school guys at the appropriate level. And then I don't honestly know what the Jordan Hudson thing, where that goes, because as Shark joked about, where we did we did the odds with Beam? Yeah, you don't think you were here that we did the odds of which would happen first.
The marriage or
or firing.
Or marriage and job ends.
Were you in here for that?
I don't know if I was in here, but I'm sure I listened.
It was pretty good. But there was all what happens first? They get married or she's dating a UNC player? I mean, there was all kinds
of possibility.
I think one of the options was he dies before they get married.
Before they get married. I mean, there's
only if he's Pope.
There was all kinds of things that were out there. So there was a lot of wildness that could occur. And I think all of those options, Shark, were in play. I don't think any of that stuff is all that outside the realm of possibility, outside of him probably his untimely demise, because I think Bill's in pretty good shape.
I'll say this, though.
Do you want to date a 24-year-old?
His hiring has brought juice to the program publicly.
Hey,
I mean, people are going to be watching North Carolina football.
Who said it? Any publicity is good publicity? Who was the originator of that?
Bobby Carpenter.
That's not attributable.
No, my whole thing is I think it's Fall Out Boy. I don't care what you say as long as it's about me, or I don't care what you think as long as it's about me. Maybe that's what they had in their song by Fall Out Boy. I'm a lot younger than you guys, though.
The fact you had a Fall Out Boy reference.
Yeah, I'm a lot younger than you guys. I'm more into the music scene, probably.
Coach, I've hung out with their bassist.
Oh, now we're going to do this. I'm sure you have, Bobby. And I've downloaded their songs illegally at times, okay? That's the difference between you and I. Not anymore, Shark. I did before.
Not anymore. They don't even have those options anymore.
Bobby, so we know that Belichick's his legacy as a coach and as a successful coach is secure.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious to see how much it translates to college football. When he's against a team that's got similar talent or against a team with more talent, what kind of difference will his coaching make?
Well, the thing is, in the NFL, talent is always fairly similar. So in college, you can have asymmetric talent. Now, could he go beat Clemson with that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to see if he's constructed a team in a way that may be less talented but maybe more effective.
Okay.
Meaning, your guys execute at a higher level. They may not be as good of players, but they still play better. And that's always been kind of the calling card of Bill. And so we'll see if he can reproduce that. That replication is what we're ultimately trying to figure out.
It feels like it's going to be damn near impossible for the players to get credit. If they beat Clemson, God, Belichick, man, what a coach.
I would say that there's some truth in that. Also, I think to play for Bill, you have to be smart. And so their players will get credit for that, of being able to learn and execute it. But yeah, you're not going to get credit for just being better. Like, that's not going to happen, because that's not how Bill's ultimately won.
So we're going to take a break in a second. Before we do, though, Bobby,
we're going to give away our Roosters gift card. You hear the sound. You know what time it is. You know it's a Tuesday. It's an appetizer Tuesday. So the featured appetizer Roosters, well, it's going to be $3 all day long. Schleg's favorite is mac and cheese bites. Well, that's been a minute. Our featured appetizer today is mini corn dogs. Bite-sized little corn dogs served with the simple side of mustard. Simple food at its finest. I like to say for Thidoff, simple food for a simple ton. And so it all is in play there. Now we're going to give that gift card away. What is the number, Sharky, that they can call that may or may not work? Let's hit it, Thidoff.
614. Well, now if I say it, I'll get blamed if it doesn't work. It's 614-821-1460.
621 or
821.
821.
Is that what I said?
614-821-1460.
Yeah.
Give us a call. The question is going to be, Thidoff, in his wide knowledge of acronyms, did not know this one in relation to Ohio State. What was it and what did it mean? Like I said, 614-821-1460. Give us a call. Get a chance to win the $50 Roosters gift card.
All right, coming up next, we'll do tell you what's got us juiced to wrap things up. We will do that. Morning Juice.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. I know firsthand what it's like to battle through joint pain. After years of the hard hits and the wear and tear on the field, I thought pain, it was just going to be something I had to live with. Let me tell you, that's no longer the case thanks to QC Kinetics. For over 8 years, QC Kinetics has been leading the charge nationwide in non-surgical joint pain relief, helping over 50,000 patients get back to doing what they love, pain-free. Whether it's your knees, back, hips, shoulders, you pick it. If joint pain's been slowing you down, you need to hear about what Dr. Aaron Walkoff and his team in Columbus are doing. They're using cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologic treatments with powerful healing properties to repair and restore damaged joint tissue. No surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Just real results. The kind of treatment I wish I had access to during my playing days, and now you do. Imagine this summer playing around at golf, chasing the kids, and just enjoying a walk without the pain. Go to qckinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-228-4544. They now have offices in Grove City and Canal Winchester.
You know what hope is? Hope is action. Carving a path forward, even when it's hard.
And kids who still know how to dream. They're the best pathfinders of all.
So at Child Fund, hope means helping millions of children living in poverty worldwide to grow up healthy, educated, skilled, and so all those good things can come true for them. Safe.
And that means safe at home, safe at school, and safe online.
Hope means walking this path together. All of us. Because when we work together, we can do so much more.
That's right. Hope includes you.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
To learn how Child Fund works with children in 23 countries to help them achieve their full potential, visit childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit OutdoorStewards.org.
Bobby Carpenter, husband, father, Buckeye. Jeff Thidoff, husband, father, idiot. This is Morning Juice.
Morning Juice. We did get the phone lines operational there. Shark had to, it looked almost like, and I'll date myself, like a MASH operation where they tried to get the phone line going, but we got it. We do have a winner. Bobby, it was Josh from Williamsport. What did he answer correctly?
Best in America, BIA, that you thought was...
We would have accepted Builders in America, Bartenders in America as well. Any of those three would have been fine. He happened to give Best in America, but all three answers would have been correct, Bobby.
Where is Williamsport, Ohio?
I think it's just south of Billyville. I don't know.
You're remarkable. I don't Williamsport, that's a good question.
They're in the 740, I know that. Right?
That's about they're
not in the 614. I think Williamsport's in the 740. I might get blasted if I don't know Williamsport is. You guys don't know what it is either,
I have
right?
no idea.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I know it's in Pennsylvania where they have the Little League World Series.
It's in Pickaway County.
Pickaway. That is where Deer Creek is, Mount Sterling.
Yeah, it's just west of Circleville. So he's not far. Schlegel is east of Circleville. That's west.
Right.
They're west of Circleville.
Williamsport, in Pennsylvania.
22, right on the way to London.
That you mentioned. Was it Williamsburg or Williamsport? Williamsport there? The Little League World Series?
I think isn't it Williamsport?
I can't remember which one. Anyway, we were there one time when I was like 9, driving through to visit relatives in Boston, and they had the field there. We were staying at a hotel. You could see the field, and there were regular season games going on there, but still decent crowds. And I had never gotten a foul ball in my life, right? 9, whatever. And they hit one to some empty part of the stadium where there was no fans, and I go sprinting over there. I'm like, as fast as I can sprint. Mm-hmm. I was in good shape at 9, Bobby, but I was still slow. The arms moved a lot faster than the legs. And as I'm getting to where the ball is, a probably 7-year-old girl gets it before me. I know. Shocker. Now, me being the polite individual I am, I was raised the right way. I put my hand out and said, "Congratulations on getting the ball." And I shook her hand.
And then you grabbed it with the other hand.
And she looked at me like I was crazy.
And then she married you.
And then she threw the ball back onto the field because you don't keep those foul balls.
Good for her.
I congratulated her on beating me to a foul ball you don't even get to keep. That's my story.
That's good.
Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Not Williamsburg. No. Williamsburg is in Virginia, and that's where William and Mary College is. That's
where that is?
That's where Thomas Jefferson went to school. And then he built a school.
Jefferson,
Virginia.
University of Virginia. Isn't there like a Jefferson College or something?
I don't. A Jefferson
Actually, the Jeffersons, the show.
It's a dry cleaning thing. That's what it is.
They're moving on
It's
up.
a career center. That's what it is. Hey, George and Wheezy, they had it going on.
Jesus.
Hey, are you able from your...
No.
You're not able to play this?
I can't play What's Got Us Juiced.
What's got you juiced?
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
It's a Tuesday on the new show. Shark, what's got you juiced?
I have to turn that down and turn that
I'm making
off,
you work.
and then I can get our Schlegelism up.
Well, Ohio State came calling like, "Hey, we want you to be the next AD." Listen, I'm game. Okay, I don't need a lot. My farm down around town, really easy commute into the city. But I just need Monster and a whiteboard. And guess what? GSD, baby. I can fundraise and talk to people with the best of them.
I think Schlegs would make a good administrator. His attention to detail is a little lacking, but in his job,
well, it's all relative to what you define as attention to detail.
I think he would make a very good administrator. I would trust him as an athletic director to make great hires. Today is Tuesday. 7 weeks from today.
Oh, don't.
It's my last day. I'm retiring on July 1st, so that is 49 days, and it's finally starting to hit me, especially
it's not even 49 days of work because you're off for 3 days.
I am. So 7 times 5, 5 working is 35, minus 3 days. I got 32 days of work left. 32 days left with you guys.
I mean, there are times, that's like the Christmas counter that I would have up in elementary school, for heaven's sake.
Or, the final day of school.
Yeah.
I still think it's selfish you to do this, but we're not going to do that today.
All right, thanks.
How are they doing the statue out front?
I'm anxious to see who's going to be sitting in this chair 50 days from now.
So am I. It'll be fun. Sitting in all these chairs.
Not all of them.
As you may or may not know, I'm a Cleveland Guardians fan. Used to be the Indians. Now they're the Guardians. And it seems like every single game, Jose Ramirez is climbing the charts in some top 10 category in franchise history. He is second all-time in home runs.
Behind Tomey?
Behind Tomey. He is 6th in RBIs. He is 6th in runs scored, 9th in hits, 5th in doubles, 9th in games played, and so on. Last night, J-Ram had 3 stolen bases. That gives him 255 for his career, and that moves him into 3rd place on the all-time franchise list for stolen bases. Number 1,
Lofton.
Kenny Lofton. Number 2,
I don't know who number 2 would be.
He played shortstop.
Vizquel too?
Omar
Vizquel.
Say Miguel De Leon.
Oh, and do we have some of that
no, we don't have any audio of that.
No, let's not do
anyway,
that.
Hosey is now 24 stolen bases behind Vizquel for 2nd place. So he could pass that this year, be in 2nd place. He's going to have to be around many, many years to replace Kenny Lofton at the top of those charts because he's 200 behind Lofton. But anyway, that has me juiced. Bob, what has you juiced?
Oh, goodness. Well, let's start off with a little nugget that I sent over to yesterday.
I walked in the recruiter's office and he looked at me and he said, "You're fat and you're black." I said, "I want to be a Navy SEAL." He laughed at me. He said, "I basically had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months." Roger that. I got my chocolate milkshake and walked out. And I sat there and I had time to reflect back on my life. I knew that no one was coming back to help me. I had to invent a guy that can take any pain, any suffering, any kind of judgment. It's time to be a Navy SEAL. I get my shoes on and I run a quarter mile. Come home crying. I started realizing I can't run that far. If I'm not good enough, I'm going to make myself good enough. I developed a psychotic weight routine. I was just doing 200, 300 reps, 400 reps. I'm going to go out here and put everything on David Goggins to be a Navy SEAL. I came back 3 months later, 106 pounds lighter. Thank you.
Often referred to as the hardest motherfucker on planet Earth.
Stay hard.
You like that? That was all done for you, Shark. I sent you one over that had already been cut up.
Nice. And the video was great because did you see him when he weighed 105 pounds more?
I try to tell everybody, say, this guy, he can't be that. I mean, there's pictures in the book when I was reading through. I mean, you should read it, Shark, in retirement, both of them. And he dives into that process. He's like, I could not run a quarter mile. And I had 3 months to lose 160 pounds. What he doesn't talk about in there, his ASVAB score was so terrible. He goes, I wouldn't even qualify on the academic side for the aptitude part. He goes, so I had to lose 106 pounds and get a lot smarter on the test. He goes, so all I did was work out and study. He was like,
it's amazing he walked into a recruiter's office looking like he looked and think that he could be a Navy SEAL.
The guy, he goes, anyone else would have laughed at me and not let me do it. He goes, he believed in me, and he goes, there was conversations back and forth. It wasn't like he just disappeared and showed back up. He goes, but no one else would have invested the time. He's like, first of all, you're 100 pounds overweight. He was already in the Air Force prior to that. And he was like, you're black, which the number of black Navy SEALs at the time was immensely small. He's like, so you're trying to do something that I wouldn't even recommend to someone that's healthy. He's like, you've got all, and by the way, your test scores suck. So you're also like in every.
Should have been a Friday server.
Yes, and he was honestly, what he was doing before that is he was doing extermination at fast food, right? Like different things where he'd go in and for bugs and rodents and all that different stuff, working overnights, all this, just eating milkshakes in the car and all that. He outlines it all. And that was after being in the Air Force for 4 years.
Just to show my growth, I'm going to ask a question now that I think I know the answer to, but I'm not sure. Was there a Cuba Gooding Jr. movie about him?
No, that was called Men of Honor, and that was about the
I've only seen clips of it.
first black diver in the Navy, which I watched that. That came out in my senior year in high school, or end of my junior year, I think 2002, late 2001. De Niro was his
very
master
abusive.
and called him Cookie the whole time. And the only reason I remember watching it, I always remember when it came out because I had broke my leg in high school, the final game of the season, my junior year. It was pretty significant. And in that movie, Cuba Gooding Jr. suffers. Have you seen it, Shark?
Oh, yeah.
When he gets hit with the chain? I mean, it was fresh in my mind enough that if I could have got up and walked out, I would have. I was still on crutches, but I wanted to throw up watching it.
He had to put on that 70-pound suit.
70. It was like 400-pound suit.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was all brass. Oh, yeah. That
and
thing
walk in it.
And under his leg, which had been it was barely hanging on. I think he had a prosthetic. They cut it off. The prosthetic almost broke. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I haven't seen the movie.
I think they had to amputate his leg.
I just remember De Niro was a
drunk,
very mean,
and a drunk. But then they became buddies.
Yep.
It was pretty amazing at the end. And so you know what, Shark, for you bringing up Men of Honor, that's got me juiced. It was
Tito
Thitoff.
Thank you very much.
Suggesting that it was about David Goggins, who
could have been, I suppose,
if it would have been made in the 40s. But yes. Whenever Men of Honor came out, sometime there around World War II, I think maybe a little after that, was when it was set, maybe the 50s or 60s. But that's got me juiced. Second day of this, I mean, if yesterday was I don't know, you've probably seen this, Hot Shots, where Charlie Sheen's riding the motorcycle over the speed bumps.
Yeah, I did see that,
That may have been yesterday. Today,
Hot Shots Part 2.
Yeah, a few less speed bumps. And a little bit better. So we appreciate everybody hanging in there with us today and being a part of this as we continue to, I would say, smooth out the kinks, but it's more like steamrolling the Himalayas right now. So we're working on it. What's got you juiced today? Off?
Yeah, you're right, Bobby. The guys behind the scenes are working their butts off every time.
They're doing a great job.
There are a few of them that are here a lot earlier than they're used to being here, and every time we have something come up, we just wave our hands over there at the other side of the glass, and they come running over usually, and they get it rectified right away. We appreciate everyone in the chat who tells us, because all the time, most of the time, Bobby and I don't know what's going. Yeah. I don't want to say what's going on. I never know what's going on, but sometimes the three of us don't know what's going wrong, I guess I should say. And so we appreciate all of you, and for all of your loyalty throughout all of this, we appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun so far. What's got me juiced, Sharky? This weekend, I'm going to my very first Cleveland-Cincinnati baseball game ever. I've not been to one before. I never went to the game. Maybe we play the exhibitions at then Franklin County Stadium and then Cooper Stadium. They do an exhibition right before the season started after spring training. But yes, I'm going on
the original Ohio Cup.
Yes, the original Ohio Cup. Yes, so I'm going to go out there this weekend and check that out on Sunday down in Cincinnati. So that should be a lot of fun. Going with a few friends with their kids and stuff. So that should be a blast down there. Bobby, I haven't worked with you around this time of year before, and I have a feeling.
What does this time mean? Because
in the middle of May.
Takes I know, Say Beam usually takes off the whole first week of June or 2 weeks. So
there's something happening this week that I get.
There's a song about that.
Abnormally,
what it is, it ain't exactly clear.
That's that's a 70s
to my
song.
Left over there.
Yeah, that's who sings that song? Stop! What's that sound? Everybody, look what's going round, Shark. That was probably your theme at prom that year. Stop, baby! What's that sound?
Everybody looks what's going on. Buffalo Springfield.
Okay, might be.
I don't know.
NFL schedule release, Bobby. Okay, I get so excited about the NFL schedule release and seeing what the primetime games are scheduled for, the first Monday night game, the first Sunday night game, the Thanksgiving games, all those things, Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get excited about that at all, or am I?
Oh, I do. We can talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But yeah, it's interesting seeing who's coming out. The problem is, I enjoy more of the opening game because you think you know what teams will be at Thanksgiving and Christmas and around the holidays, but injuries and things can happen. You never know. And you're right, it was Buffalo. There we go. What a banger. It's a great one.
It is a good one there. It always makes
I
me think the Wonder Years.
I could just listen. Absolutely, I could just listen simply to the audio of without even the lyrics. Just the
It is Buffalo Springfield.
It is. You're
Good
right.
call by you, Sharp.
1966.
Good call by you. BIA, best in America back then. Bobby, they did announce the late Christmas game, the night game, is going to be Denver, Kansas City, which excites me because I want to see weather. Don't put these games in a dome on Christmas and Thanksgiving, especially at night. Give me an opportunity.
You know what else is interesting is that they're playing. The NFL announced a doubleheader on the same day that there's going to be the college football triple header.
Right.
So that's going to be fun.
That'll be fun.
At least last year they were able to avoid the games all being played together, whereas this year,
NFL says, look, you adjust to us. We're not going to adjust to you anymore. They stopped doing that.
Honestly, there's very few things that I want the government to get involved in. But
that you do?
But since because they gave the NFL, like in the act that came out when they got the Saints, as all part of the horse trade and the NFL getting their tax exempt status and all these different things. There was limits on when the NFL could play and what they could do, and I would like to see some of those things instituted. I think that there would be enough support nationally for that to be the case. So, like I said, very rarely do I ever want to say here, hey, we're the government, we're here to help.
Right.
But I think that's the only way that you get these NFL owners to back off.
All right, well, maybe we'll dive into more of that talk tomorrow. I promise you, tomorrow will be a better day. It always is.
You cannot
yes, I
that.
can. This has been Morning Juice. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
In honor of all those we've lost to cancer and those still fighting and thriving, like basketball analyst and cancer champion Dick Vitale.
I want to beat cancer. I'm going to beat it. That's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to win this battle.
Defeating cancer will take all of us. Join our team to help fund game-changing research that saves lives. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over the odds. V is for victory over health disparities, victory over setbacks, victory over the unknown. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Donate to the V Foundation to join our team and help save lives.
Cancer can take away all my physical abilities. It cannot touch my mind, it cannot touch my heart, and it cannot touch my soul.
100% of donations fund game-changing cancer research. Donate now to the V Foundation at v.org.
Within 15 seconds of logging onto social media, the algorithm has your daughter in its crosshairs. It sends her a steady flow of images telling her she isn't thin enough, pretty enough. They invade her brain, causing body dysmorphia, anxiety,